Hey everyone, how are you doing? My name is Cedric Evans, and this is my presentation for a trait theory. And this is the Communication 520 course. First of all, let me give you guys a brief description of what a theory is. According to the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, the word theory can be defined in various ways. The first definition was theory being defined as the analysis of a set of factors in their relation to one another. The second definition was theory being defined as an abstract thought. Thirdly, theory was defined as a general or abstract of a body, a fact, a science, or an art. The final definition of theory was a belief, policy, or procedure proposed, followed as the basis of an action. Sylvia PJ 2008 explained that there are various types of theories that are parts of our lives, and these theories have so much to do with the way we think, research, and perceive things. The theory that I have decided to research, in my opinion, is not one that I have heard of very often, but it might be due to the lack of knowledge on this theory until this point. The theory that I have decided to research is known as trait theory. The purpose of research is to find out how trait therapy can have a positive effect on the personalities of individuals who have negative outlooks on things and therefore have negative personalities as defined by others. My expectation from this investigation is to find out how trait theory can be used to help those who have negative personalities and how they can be changed to positive outlooks because the implementation of the theory. My research question is it more likely for a trait theory to have a positive effect on those who have negative personalities? In conclusion, my thesis is that many people may disagree, but I believe that trait theory will be effective in helping a person with a negative outlook and personality change to have a more positive outlook. According to Cherry K 2013, trait theory is one of the most influential and major theoretical areas in the study field of personality. This particular theory is based on what is known as broad dispositions. In order to describe this in the simplest of terms, one could think of how their best friend has certain traits. For instance, a person could be described as talkative, outgoing, bashful, or mild-tempered. One of the main focuses of the trait theory is to analyze and to measure the personality traits and characteristics. Research proves that the father of trait theory was Gordon Allport. He founded this particular theory back in 1936. He also discovered the English language dictionary contained more than 4,000 words describing various personality traits. He broke these particular traits down into three separate levels. The first of the three levels were listed by Allport was cardinal traits. Cardinal traits are the traits that dominate a person's entire life. There are traits that people actually are identified by. These are the traits that a person's presence becomes synonymous with. From a Christian worldview, the best way to describe a cardinal trait would be to describe a person as Christ-like. The founder of this trait also expressed that cardinal traits are developed in the later stages of a person's life. The next type of traits Allport listed was called central traits. Central traits are general characteristics that make up the basic characteristics of an individual's personality. However, these traits are not as dominant as the before mentioned cardinal traits. These are the traits that are generally used to describe another person's personality. Words that could be used in central traits are such as smart, truthful, and anxious. These are the traits that we as individuals use to encounter each and every day of our lives. The final of the three major traits listed by was secondary traits. Secondary traits are mainly related to attitudes of individuals. One of the things that are included in the secondary traits are when a person gets overly anxious about speaking in public or even getting impatient while waiting in line at their favorite restaurant. Research shows that the trait theory of leadership relates to a leader's personality and his or her performance in tasks they take part in. The trait theory also included what was known as the Big Five Dimensions of Personality. Raymond Cattell developed the 16 personality factors, while Hans Essek developed the three-factor theory. The five big dimensions of personality are extraversion, agreeableness, conscientiousness, neuroticism, and openness. Extraversion is defined as the personality trait that includes characteristics such as excitability, sociability, talkativeness, assertiveness, and high amounts of emotional expressiveness. Agreeableness is the personality trait that includes trust, altruism, kindness, and other pro-social behaviors. Conscientiousness includes high levels of thoughtfulness and the ability to have good control of impulses. People who are conscientious tend to be very detail oriented. Neuroticism is the trait shared by those who have a high level of instability, moodiness, anxiety, irritability, and sadness. The last of the five is openness. Openness is the trait that is shared by those who have a lot of insight and imagination, and these individuals also tend to have a wide range of interests and hobbies. There is also the trait model leadership, which is based on the characteristics of several leaders. The leaders with particular characteristics are both successful and unsuccessful. Those who attempt to predict the effectiveness of a leader use this model to predict whether or not a leader is or will be effective. Scholars who use this particular approach usually attempt to identify physiological demographics, personalities, confidence, and intelligence. Research shows that effective leaders exhibit different characteristics than those who are not considered effective. Over the years, successful leaders exhibit a certain core of traits. The first of the core traits is achievement drive, which explains that a person has the traits that allow them to exhibit a high level of initiative and ambition. The next core trait listed is leadership motivation. Leadership motivation is an intense desire that leads to a reaching of certain goals. Third is honesty and integrity, which includes the traits of being trustworthy, reliable, and open. Self-conscious Self-confidence, is the belief in one's ideas and ability. Next is cognitive ability, which is defined as being capable of exercising proper judgment and strong analytical skills and having conceptual skills. Knowledge of business is the knowledge of industry and technical matters. Emotional maturity means a person is well adjusted and they do not suffer from major psychological disorders. The trait theory has a number of strengths as well. The first thing that I found to be interesting about trait theory in terms of strengths is that this is always seen as a naturally pleasing theory. One other strength of this theory is that the theory is backed up by a wealth of research and is validated by research. This theory also serves as the measuring stick against the leadership traits of a leader can be assessed properly. The last strength that will be listed is that it gives a detailed knowledge and understanding of the leadership process. The trait theory, like anything else, along with strength, it does have weaknesses and limitations. One limitation is that there is some subjective judgment that determine who is deemed a good or successful leader. Then it is a list of traits that define who is a successful leader, and it is extremely long. And in fact, there are more than 100 different successful leaders in the different leadership roles that have been previously identified. The descriptions of a leader are all generalities. One other weakness is the disagreement that people have because they have differences about what traits an effective leader exhibits. The trait theory model also attempts to relate physical traits such as height and weight to an effective leader. These are usually related to situational factors. For example, these individuals think someone big and tall would do well in a military setting, while weight and height is not related to a business environment. One last weakness is the theory is a very complex theory. The implications of trait theory gives away constructive information about leadership roles. The theory can be applied to every level by people in different organizations. Managers of companies can use information from the trait theory to evaluate their position in the organizations and study their position so that they can be made stronger as an organization. This theory informs those management positions what strengths and weaknesses of others in their organization and how to develop leadership qualities. In conclusion, the trait theory gives us the need to ask a lot of questions. These questions are not alternatives. These questions are whether leaders are born or whether leaders are made. The theory also explains to us the self-confidence is something that is developed, but other things like honesty and integrity are personal choices. Confidence is not something that a person is born with. And I also would like to say it proves my point that the trait theory will have a positive effect on the personalities of others. Thank you.